Euzubillahimineşşeytanirracim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Elhamdülillahi Rabbil alemin. Ve salatu ve selamu ala Resulina Muhammedin ve ala alihi ve sahbihi ecma'in. Radıyallahu anna ve anhum ve an kâfetil müminin. Rabbena atina min ledunke rahmeten ve yi'lena min emrina raşada. Because of the limited time we have, I will just start talking about the subject matter I am assigned to talk. I have a son. He has been willing to become an engineer since his childhood and is very good in math and other subjects. His school, which is Anadolu İmam Hatip, Beyoğlu Anadolu İmam Hatip High School, sent him one summer to Jordan to study Arabic. And after he came back, he said, "Dad, I changed my mind. I no longer want to become an engineer. I want to become a Muslim scholar, a scholar of Islam." I said, "What happened?" Because this was shocking for the whole family, because we even used to give him the nickname Chinese scientist, because he's very much into this science stuff, and subscribe to some science magazines, etc. He said that I observed that today the problems of the Muslim Ummah cannot be solved by engineering. The problems that Muslim Ummah suffers today can be solved only by Islamic sciences and social sciences. Most of the problems are social, cultural, not engineering problem. So this was his observation and conclusion after traveling in Jordan. Then he changed track. I see that here you are studying Islamic disciplines, and this is something very, very important, especially in the modern age. And your teachers, your professors have already designed the curriculum for you, which is based on the Nizamiye curriculum, as much as I know. And I have also completed this curriculum when I was a child, parallel to my academic studies. And after I finished my Ph.D, I completed the program and I got my ijazah from the Nizamiye program as well. And because I valued the Nizamiye program and maintaining this tradition, I did not say I have my PhD, so why should I care about having this traditional diploma? What's it good for? I thought it is very important to be grounded in these traditional disciplines. And today in the programs I am supervising the ISAR program, and also I have a female version of ISAR. The brothers did not come to visit. It's called EDEP program. It's for girls. So I have a program for boys, another program for girls, and these programs are for university students who are registered in the universities, and they come at night to study Nizamiye program, like the Ottoman Madrasa program, modern Arabic, classical Arabic, and Ulum Islamiyya, English plus social sciences. Okay, and so the purpose of EDEP is an abbreviation for Center for Excellence in Education, and ISAR is an abbreviation for Istanbul Foundation for Research and Education. So these programs, they are offering the same education, one for boys, the other is for girls. So you reminded me what I am doing, and it seems that the brothers here, they are my clones, or I am their clone. So we are thinking the same way and trying to do the same things. And So it's a very important. It's very important to have this kind of education. But today I'm not going to talk about the importance of this education. I'm going to talk about how should this education be related to modern sciences, in particular modern social sciences. First of all, let's ask ourselves, is it sufficient to study only those traditional disciplines which we inherited through Nizamiye program? It's evident, it's explicit that this is not sufficient for a Muslim scholar today. Because if one wants to become a Muslim scholar who can competently understand and solve the problems Muslim Ummah face today, the education based on like those traditional books will not be sufficient. One needs to know those modern disciplines as well. But how? You know, what kind of approach, what kind of methodology we should follow in studying those disciplines. And as I said, in our ISAR program and EDEP program, we combine the Ottoman Madrasa program, which is the Nizamiye program, as you call, with social science education to overcome this shortcoming. And so how like Islamic disciplines are related with the modern social sciences. I will talk about this. Today we have two sets of disciplines which study human action: fiqh and social sciences. What's the subject matter for fiqh? What does fiqh study? Amal, human action. So what's the subject matter for social sciences? Human action. See, so we have two disciplines studying the same subject matter, amal, human action. So we have choice. Either we follow fiqh to study human action and also to solve the problems in the field of human action and social relations with fiqh, or study social science, explain and understand human action with the help of social sciences. So it's very important to become aware of this, that these two disciplines or sets of disciplines, because they have like sub-disciplines involved, they study the same thing: human action, social relations, social structures, etc. Like look at fiqh. I mean, like Kitab al-Biyu' studies economics, and then you have as-Siyar, Kitab al-Siyar, international relations, and as-Siyasa al-Shar'iyya, political science, you know, but from a particular perspective, you know, from the perspective of a particular paradigm. And also in social sciences, like you have sociology, psychology, etc., etc. But when I say fiqh, I don't mean like in the narrow sense, just the furu' al-fiqh. I mean the fiqh as understood by Abu Hanifa, Imam Shafi, Ahmed bin Hanbal, and Imam Malik, Imam Ghazali, and all these great scholars. So for them, fiqh meant like studying human action from the perspective of Sharia, and producing the norms for it. And this included first al-fiqh al-akbar, which is like a theology, kalam, philosophy, whatever you call. I mean, the conceptual foundations regarding existence, knowledge, sources of knowledge, which is called today ontology, epistemology, and basic issues regarding this. So al-fiqh al-akbar, and then Usul al-Fiqh, which is the methodology with which we study the Quran, the Sunnah, analyze them, understand them, and extrapolate norms for human behavior. So Usul al-Fiqh is the general methodology of all Islamic disciplines. Usul Hadith is developed to ensure authentic transmission of Hadith, and Usul al-Fiqh is developed to ensure authentic understanding of Hadith. So you need two disciplines. One is making sure the thubut is sahih. The other is that the dalalat is understood in a sahih manner. So you can see that different methodologies are developed, but the major general methodology is usul al-fiqh. Then you have furu' al-fiqh regarding human action in different domains and fields. Then there is al-fiqh al-batin or fiqh al-batin or al-fiqh al-wijdani, which is also called tasawwuf. So human action has exterior dimension and then interior dimension. The interior dimension or the internal dimension is the niyyah, the intention, and the ikhlas. So it is there, and this is what's called fiqh al-batin. Without ikhlas, all the good deeds are invalid. They mean nothing. So fiqh zahir, studying the external side of the human action alone is not enough. It must be combined with fiqh al-batin as well. So there are four major branches of fiqh: al-fiqh al-akbar, usul al-fiqh, furu' al-fiqh, and also fiqh al-batin or al-fiqh al-wijdani. So these four branches. So when I say fiqh, this is what I mean. And this is how fiqh was traditionally understood by our scholars. And today there is disconnection of al-fiqh al-akbar from usul al-fiqh and also from al-fiqh al-wijdani, etc. So this disconnection and this fragmentation paralyzes fiqh thinking. That's why our fuqaha cannot produce great ideas. Because if a faqih is not grounded in philosophy and is not grounded in like usul fiqh and in furu' fiqh and in the tasawwuf, just looking at it from only one dimension, then this is not good fiqh thinking. This is the reason why today fiqh thinking is in crisis, and the fuqaha today cannot produce solutions to the modern problems. So this is what I mean by fiqh. And Ibn Khaldun says that there are two distinguishing features of Islamic civilization compared to other civilizations. Because sometimes my students ask me, they say, you talk about Islamic civilization, what's distinctive about Islamic civilization? What's unique about Islamic civilization? I say that there are two things. First, isnad system. Second, fiqh, the discipline of fiqh. These two things exist only in Islamic civilization. They don't exist in any other civilization. So isnad for the transmission of knowledge in a reliable and authentic manner, and fiqh for the proper understanding and implementation of knowledge in one's personal life and also social life. Yeah, so Islam is civilization of isnad and fiqh. This is how I call. Yes. But in the period of modernization, what happened is that we abandoned isnad and we abandoned fiqh. What happened? We abandoned modern Western model and not only in the organization of education, but also like in the way they certify knowledge. So knowledge is certified in the West with a diploma. But in the Islamic world, knowledge is certified by an ijazah which has silsila. Okay? So actually Muslims are the first ones who invented the certification of knowledge, certification of education. And Muslims are the ones who invented the ijazah with the silsila. And also Muslims are the first ones who invented the university system, college system. But the Europeans, they took it from Muslims. However, they did not give this power to the individual scholar. They gave it to the church. Because who gives the ijazah? The scholar, individual scholar. So he has the power of Minister of Education. He does not need accreditation from any authority, right? So he's a very powerful person. You know, the scholar, the alim is very powerful. You know, he accredits himself only with the ijazah he got from his sheikh, from his teacher, and he does not need to get accredited from the political authority or any authority. So he's independent completely. This is the academic autonomy, intellectual autonomy. But Europe, when they adopted this system, they said it's too much power for an individual scholar. The church should issue diploma. So the church started issuing the diploma, and later, after the period of secularization, the state monopolized the power of issuing the diploma. So no professor can give diploma. And the university as an institution, and the university needs to be accredited by the state. So you can see the control system in the field of education. But unfortunately, we abandoned our ijazah system, not only in countries like Turkey where secularization and modernization was adopted, but also in the so-called traditional societies like in Saudi Arabia. So they also adopted like BA, MA, and PhD instead of like the ijazah, you know, from the scholars. They also abandoned the silsila. So you can see the modernization in the system of certification of education. And the second Western influence came in the field of how you study human action, how you study society, how you study social relations. So the Muslim world abandoned fiqh and adopted social sciences, Western social sciences. Okay? And this change, this paradigm shift did not take place only in countries like Turkey. We are a secular country. We abandoned like Islamic heritage. If we wanted to become like a Western country and shift from Islamic civilization to Western civilization, but countries like Saudi Arabia, Pakistan, and like all these Arab countries, they also adopted Western social sciences and started teaching them in their universities. And this is how they started like studying human action. So when you look at the Islamic history, there are three periods. The first period during which fiqh was completely dominant in studying human action, social relations, and social structures. So we use fiqh in analyzing what economics is, what politics is, what family is, what international relations are, etc. So we just used fiqh to do these things. And then in the second half of the 19th century, with the rise of social sciences in the West, like modern positivist social sciences in the West, slowly the impact was felt in the Muslim world. And some scholars said, we don't need Western social sciences. Some said we should leave fiqh and adopt social sciences in its place. And some said we should combine both. Okay? And there was a big debate in the late period of the Ottoman Empire among scholars and intellectuals. Okay, so there was a thinker called Ziya Gökalp. He said we have to combine Islamic and Western civilization. Therefore, we have to combine the sciences to study human action from Western and Islamic civilization. And he proposed that we should establish İçtimai usulü fıkıh, social scientific usulü fıkıh. So he said from now on, one sociologist together with one faqih should give fatwa, not just faqih, together. Okay, and sociology should be combined with usul fiqh. This was his proposal in a nutshell. Okay, so he was advocating to combine Western sociology and usul fiqh, but majority of the scholars objected this call. By the way, there was also another scholar who called for İçtimai ilmi kelam. İçtimai ilmi kelam, social scientific theology. You know, to grant theology in sociology. And of course, it was Durkheimian sociology adopted from France, and scholars objected to this. And one of the leading scholars who objected was İzmirli İsmail Hakkı. So he said, first, there is no need for something like this. Like fiqh is very functional. We don't need to combine fiqh and social sciences. Second, this is impossible because these are two separate paradigms based on two separate understanding of the world, the human being, and the normative system. So it's impossible to combine both. So there was like a long debate at that time whether we should adopt Western social sciences or not. But after the Kemalist revolution, the state made the decision that we should adopt Western social sciences. And Western social sciences were introduced to our university system. And but this was not like a natural process. There is a famous historian of science. His name is Thomas Kuhn, and his book is titled Structure of Scientific Revolutions. It's a great book. I advise you to read it. So there he discusses how shifts from one paradigm to another paradigm occur. What happens is that like one paradigm get questioned by scholars and intellectuals, and then a new paradigm rises, and people increasingly get convinced that this new paradigm is the correct paradigm and the old one is useless, it's completely wrong. And then the academic community, the intellectual community abandon the old paradigm and adopt the new one. But how about the transition in Turkey from fiqh to social sciences? Is it a scientific revolution the way Thomas Kuhn defined it? No. Because the debate was still going on in the academic community, and the majority, they were not convinced that we need Western social sciences, and the most extremist pro-Western scholars said we have to combine. He did not say like we have to abandon fiqh completely. He said we have to combine. But the Kemalists, they were so radical. They said we don't care, you know, anything Islamic. We have to reject it, and they introduced Western social sciences. So it is not like a natural like abandoning one paradigm and adopting another paradigm because the intellectual and academic community became convinced that it is no more useful. So it's a political top-down decision. So we adopted social sciences, and they propagandated that social sciences will solve all our problems. No more illiteracy, no more poverty, no more conflicts, etc. and they did so in other parts of the Muslim world as well. So I studied history of sociology in Egypt. They did the same thing. They made a big propaganda that social sciences will come and they will solve all the problems, but eventually nothing happened. And there was a disillusionment. There was a disappointment, from Western social sciences. But it's very interesting that this process took place in Turkey on behalf of secularization and westernization and modernization. But the same process took place in Saudi Arabia, in Egypt, in other parts of the Muslim world as well. So like tasawwuf was abundant in Turkey because it is considered backwardness. It is not rational. But the tasawwuf was also abundant and banned in Saudi Arabia. Why? Completely opposite arguments, based on opposite arguments, because it's bid'ah. So you see that same process was applied in everywhere in the Muslim world, but different arguments were used to justify and legitimize what's being done. So in one place, like Islamic legacy of disciplines were rejected because they were bid'ah, and the other place, Islamic legacy of the disciplines were rejected because they are not Western, they are not modern, they are old-fashioned. So this is the third phase in the history. So in the first phase you have only fiqh. In the second phase you have struggle. But then this struggle in the beginning was an intellectual struggle, but at the end it turns into a political intervention. And the political authority, the states, intervened, and they brought in Western social science and abundant and banned fiqh and fiqh al-akbar and tasawwuf and all of them because they thought they were irrational. But this project was not successful, alhamdulillah. Because the civil society did not abandon tradition of fiqh. And some of the best books in Turkish history were written during the 20th century, the Republican period, and also in the Arab world also. And alhamdulillah, and today we have two paradigms studying human action, like fiqh and social sciences, but our intellectuals and our ulama, they are not aware of the link between the two and how one should relate to the other one. So as the students of fiqh and Islamic disciplines, I suggest that our approach should be as follows: accept empirically proven facts, criticize the theories based on those facts. So science consists of two things. First, empirically proven facts. Second, the interpretations based on those empirical facts. Okay? So let's say, a biologist finds a bone somewhere, and then he interprets it in such a way that, this is an evidence for evolution. So finding the bone, we accept it, no problem. But his interpretation that this is evidence for evolution, we disagree. All right? And the same way, the physicist, they discover something, and then some interpret it in such a way that this is a proof for the absence of God. And then the other claims this is a proof for the existence of God. So you can see that interpretations vary and conflict, and it's natural. That's why you have so many different schools of thought in anthropology, in psychology, in political science, in international relations. So these schools emerge because of different interpretations of the same empirical facts. So we should have our own interpretation of those empirically proven facts. Those empirical facts, they are universal, but the theories based on those facts, they are not universal. Because even in the Westerners themselves, they disagree with each other in the interpretation of those facts. Why should we accept like one interpretation as a scientific interpretation? Okay? So this is the basic rule in interacting with Western social sciences. And should we study and learn their interpretations? Yes. Even if at the end you are going to reject, you must study and learn. Why? Because the Islamic approach is comparative. Look at the Quran. Allah Ta'ala talks about haq and batil at the same time. So, does Allah Ta'ala talk in the Quran only about Adam and Hawa? No. He also talks about shaitan. And he objectively reports the arguments of the shaitan, right? And critically analyzes and shows that it's false. And the same way, does Allah Ta'ala talk only about Sayyidina Ibrahim? Or he also talks about Nemrud? And the debate between the two, objectively reported. And does Allah Ta'ala talk only about Musa alayhi salam? Or he also talks about the Fir'aun? Right? Does Allah Ta'ala talk only about Sayyidina Muhammad alayhi salam? Or he also talks about the arguments of Abu Lahab and Abu Jahl at the same time? Yes. So you see, the Quranic approach is comparative. And Allah Ta'ala teaches both haq and batil at the same time. So, like talking about Shaitan, Fir'aun, Namrud, Abu Jahl, Abu Lahab, etc., does not mean you are going to accept, their claims, but you have to know their claims as well. So today, as I said, we have two different paradigms to study human action. We feel that we must accept and apply fiqh because we are Muslims, because we are descendants of the fuqaha. That's right. And but at the same time, we have to know the current debates and discussions going on in the world from a different perspective. Not only to know like what they have, but at the same time you have to know that the current cultural environment is dominated by these ideas, and the people like you will address later on, their minds are occupied with these ideas. So if you are familiar with those ideas, you will be successful in convincing them better. That's why in our programs we teach both Mektubat Imam Rabbani as-Sirhindi and also Communist Manifesto of Marx at the same time, and also like a Fiqh al-Quduri and al-Ikhtiyar, So we need to combine both, and like a psychology, sociology, philosophy, etc. We need to know those things. And Islam is an open civilization. This is how I define Islam. Islam is an open civilization because it's been open to non-Islamic civilizations and cultures. Look at how Prophet Muhammad ﷺ dealt with the Jews and the Christians and the polytheists. In Medina, he even wrote a constitution together with them. And later Muslims translated all the Greek works, but they did not translate one thing from Greeks. What is it? Mythology. They did not translate mythology. They said this is complete nonsense. We should not waste our time with it. Yeah. Also, they did not take sculpture making. They said this is useless. There is no benefit. See what I mean? So they were critical. They were critical. So there were certain things empirically proven, useful, they took, and then certain things they thought this is completely useless, they rejected. So this shows that Islam is an open civilization But there are rules and regulations for the openness. There is a methodology, in the openness, and this methodology was implemented by our ulama when they interacted with other civilizations. And today we have to do the same thing when we interact with other civilizations. خُذْ مَا صَفَى دَعْ مَا كَدَرْ. And if something is true, we take it. If not true, we don't take it from the social sciences and also modern philosophy. But we must know, even if we are going to reject it at the end. So may Allah give you success in your studies. So your job today is more difficult than the job of the classical madrasa students. Because classical madrasa students in India and in the Ottoman Empire, they were required only to know fiqh and Arabic. But today, you are required to know not just like a fiqh, but at the same time social sciences. You have like a double responsibility. But in their time, there was no fiqh. There was no Western social sciences. There was no Western challenge, right? So they just studied fiqh and the Quran and tafsir. This was enough. But they were also like studying Greek philosophy to reject Greek philosophy, like Imam Ghazali did. So today, I mean, our responsibility, our burden is much more than our previous ancestors. So that's why I say that our role models should be late Ottoman scholars. Because late Ottoman scholars, they faced the challenge posed by rising Western social sciences, studied them and critically analyzed them. And we have to build upon their work and start where they left. So like Abu Suud Effendi, who was the Shaykh al-Islam during the time of Suleiman the Magnificent, may not be a good role model for us. But Ahmed Cevdet Pasha, who after graduating from Fatih madrasas studied French and French Code Civil, French law, then produced Majallat al-Ahkam al-Adliya, which is a modernized version of fiqh. So he may serve as a better role model for us. So today, if you want to become a good faqih, don't follow the example of Abu Suud Effendi, because times changed. Follow the example of Ahmed Cevdet Pasha, like study fiqh and also study modern law, and then understand the zeitgeist, the spirit of the times and the needs of the times, and approach them with wisdom, with hikmah. Thank you very much. Jazakumullah khairan.